All right. If this is your first time ever hearing me speak, I promise if you pay attention, I'm going to help change your life. Most people get an LLC. And one of the first things that you do is you go get an EIN number. You never went ask the IRS, do you qualify to have it? What do I mean? The IRS says, do you need an EIN? Now, this is where it's going to hit some of y'all. I know, but just keep an open mind. I'm not reading to y'all from my book of things. I'm reading to y'all from the IRS website. The IRS says you will need an EIN. Thank you, Destiny. If you answer yes to any of the following questions, that means that the IRS is about to ask you a list of questions. As long as you can answer yes to any one of them, you qualify to have an EIN. First of all, I have to first educate you on what does EIN stand for? Employer identification number. Now stop. Now some people will say, well, Dwayne, that's common sense. It's not. I've heard people call it an employee identification number, employees identification number. Some people just don't know it. It's called an employer identification number. What is the definition of an employer? Let's go see. An employer is a person or organization that employs people. What does it mean to employ people? To give them work and pay them for it. Stop. If you are not paying anybody to do a job, how can you be identified as an employer? Secondly, whenever an employer pays an employee, that employee automatically have taxes taken out of their check right then and there. So when you pay yourself, as some people say, do you have taxes taken out your check? Federal, Social Security, and Medicare? Most of the times, if you are paying somebody, hell, Fiverr, Upwork, and all of these other, you're paying contractors. You're not paying employees. So here's the first question that the IRS asks. Do you have employees? 98%. That's a big number. 98% of business owners who own the business by themselves cannot answer yes to this question. The second question, do you operate your business as a corporation or a partnership? That never said, do you operate your business as an LLC? I know. And this is where people get it confused. Because you can go on the IRS website and get one for free, you think all of a sudden you qualify to have one? That's a lie. And I'm about to prove it to you. Do you file any of these tax returns? Employment, excise, or alcohol, tobacco, and firearms? Do you withhold taxes on income other than wages paid to a non-resident alien? Does your business have a KEO plan? That's a retirement plan or a pension plan. And is your business set up as a trust, a state, real estate, mortgage, investment conduit, non-profit organization, farmers crop, or plan administrator? All of a sudden, when you don't qualify to have the EIN number, how do you then qualify to play by the same rules? It does not work like that. And that's because the average person doesn't understand why are they connected to that business. You're connected to that business, number one, because you're using a number that you don't qualify for. You should be using your Social Security number, but I get it. You don't want to. But just because you don't want to use your Social Security number doesn't mean that you don't have to. Let me explain. For all of you all who are listening to me for the first time, I want you to go look at your EIN document. I want you to go pull it out. And I want you to look at that thing. And I want you to have a conversation with yourself. Sometimes you got to talk to yourself. Ain't nothing wrong with that. You got to sometimes talk to yourself and process stuff. I want you to ask yourself, I hear people tell me that I'm separated from that business. Yet, on my EIN paperwork, it has my business name, LLC, and it has my name on it as well. How can I be separated from something that has my name on it? And here's where, and I'm telling you, I know I ain't doing nothing but battling a mind thing. Because you can literally look at your name on a paper and somehow you have convinced yourself or allowed people to convince you to ignore your name. You got to pay attention to everything else on the paper, but you got to ignore your name. And then you have some people, watch how bad this gets. Well, that's because your name is capitalized. Well, hell, we assigned you an employer identification number is capitalized. If you write attach the stub at the end of that's capitalized. Department of Treasury is capitalized. Houston, Texas is capitalized. What does that mean? You see, there are so many people giving you all their opinions, but nobody talking about the facts. Let's talk about facts for a second. Let's talk about facts. If you never, ever, if you never want to pay federal income taxes a day in your life, type the number 1 in the chat. Let's just say that you tired. You don't want to pay taxes ever again. If you don't ever want to pay federal income taxes, type the number 1 in the chat. Now again, I'm going to ask y'all a logical question. If you never want to pay taxes, why did you choose to open a business as an LLC? Well, what do you mean, Dwayne? Well, according to the Internal Revenue Service, a limited liability company is a business structure allowed by state statute. Stop. If you don't want to pay federal income taxes, why did you choose a structure that's only recognized by the state? How can something only recognized at the state level help you fight a battle at the federal level? That's 2 different jurisdictions. How? Even if the LLC wanted to help you, it can't. And let me make matters even worse for you. You ready? People tell you to go get an LLC because you have limited liability. That's a lie. That is a lie. I'm going to say it again. People tell you to go get an LLC because you have limited liability. That's a lie. Let me tell you why. How you going to pay attention to the word limited liability and ignore this word? Company. Watch this. Now watch. This is only for the new people. My regulars do not answer this question. But for all the new people, in your own words, what do you think the definition of the word company means? Go. Nobody's going to beat you up in the live, I promise. This is all for educational purposes. What's your definition of the word company? Somebody says a person. Thank you for answering. A business. Thank you, Joe. More than one employee. A corporation. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. More than one employee. More than one participant. Let's go see. The definition of the word company. And I'm reading to you from a dictionary of legal terms. The definition of the word company is a group of people organized to perform an activity, business, or industrial enterprise. The word company is a group of people. Let me give you a regular definition. If you had people come visit you at your house for a cookout, a birthday party, a baby shower, and all of those people came over, wouldn't you refer to those people as, I got company coming over? The word company has always meant a group of people, more than one.